Hey everyone, Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Southeast Florida. If you ever have to move one of these China hutches, do not fear. They are not as hard as they look to remove. Usually they are held on the back with a couple of brackets, usually a Phillips or a flathead. Will take them out of place, so grab your drill and just go ahead and pop those off real quick. This can be a one-man job if necessary. There is a very simple technique, although there are times to be careful, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it is doable. Just make sure to be careful and make sure you're doing things within your own comfort. If you can, make sure all the drawers are either strapped off or taped off, or they're not going to open so easily. Simply what I'm going to do though is slide the piece to one side, ensuring that the other side is still very well much on the bottom part. So as you saw there, it went ahead and went back and double check, and that's only because the bottom was hollow. So there's actually a little bit of a ridge, but you simply just slide one side over. You can see there I have a moving blanket on the ground that is going to catch the side I'm going to be setting down, and then I'm simply just going to walk over and stick it on the dolly. So very slowly lower it down so you don't damage the floor from the pressure. Grab a dolly. Right now it's balancing up very well. Now I'm just going to slide the piece over. Line it up with a dolly. This one was just a little bit trickier because, like I mentioned, it was hollow underneath. So it didn't sit perfectly well the first time. I had to readjust it. Not a problem though. Go ahead and pick up the wire so you don't trip on it. And then you just wheel it out the door. Super simple process. The bottom piece I just went ahead and grabbed with the hand truck, and that was it. Now, the only time I wouldn't personally recommend doing that is if when you're by yourself, is if you're going in a home that's not cleared out like that, and you maybe have a table right in front of it, and more so a table that you can't necessarily just slide a little bit out of the way. You can take this down by just literally sliding it right off the side of it, but you have to be very, very careful. I would advise you not to do that if you're not comfortable with moving in general. But if you don't have a choice and you are accepting the potential risks, then by all means, it's your business. But I would encourage you to have help with you if possible. If, let's say, for example, you had a glass table right in front of it on two separate pedestals, that would be very hard to move by yourself. And of course, you're playing with fire with it being a glass table. So I find it helpful if somebody ever calls and says, hey, I have a China hutch. How much would it be to pick up? Or can you guys come out and pick it up? I asked them to send me a picture of like the whole room, if possible, if I'm working by myself, because that will tell me everything I need to know as to whether or not I can take that down by myself or not, or if I need to go out and hire somebody to help me out. If you have employees, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're on your own, like I am the majority of the time, that is something to keep in mind. So hopefully that tip helps. And if you run into those in the future, I do that. I've probably done 20 or 30 of those, that exact same technique. I've never had a problem. Make sure you take the shelves out before you move it. And overall, you're just careful. You're controlling it. If you start to feel it sway one or two ways, obviously catch it ahead of time so you don't have any problems. But that's it.